Jason Wygant, James Stewart, and we welcome Dr. McGinley back in. We're going to talk about some injuries, and we have to start with Jet Lawrence. Now, you do not work directly with Jet Lawrence as a client, but we all saw what happened. He's talked about what he's dealing with. What do you think he's got to work on to try to recover from that?
Wow, that's hard to watch, but I think everything was just said in that fastest qualifier. He's on the podium, recovered, ready to go. I mean, what courage to get back there and finish both of those races last week. You know, the biggest thing he's talking about is hitting that leg on the foot peg coming down, and had an injury to the leg and muscle, and looks like he's better. He's walking around fine. We'll see how he holds up here today. Yeah,
this is the limping we saw last week. Much better now. Some other injury news that we have, Nate Thrasher, who did show speed to the opening motos of the championship. Turns out he not only injured his collarbone, but he actually bent a plate that he had in it from an earlier injury. Unfortunately, I think in motocross, Doc, that's not as uncommon as it might sound.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. He raced last weekend with a broken collarbone, bent plate. He already had surgery this past week, so he's already recovering. Looking forward to seeing him in the second half of the season for sure. But, man, I can't imagine going out there and doing what he did last week with a broken collarbone and bent plates.
Wild. So he's going to be out for a bit, maybe the rest of the motocross campaign. Now, one rider you do work with has been saying he expects to be much better in motocross this year is Jordan Smith. Let's check in with his thoughts here.
For the most part, it's just once the treatment's over, you just kind of just go about your life as normal, and it's kind of just goes away. You may have to go back for more treatments after the first one, but yeah, it's pretty like just you do it and it is what it is. You just do everything else normal, and you just don't get arm pump anymore.
And what Jordan's talking about there is your arm pump procedure. And he told me he's always had arm pump in the motocross championship. Finally doesn't.
Yeah, we treated him back in September, and you saw the Supercross season he had. He's out there killing it on the fast lap times. I didn't even know he did that sit-down interview, so that's wonderful to hear. It's great. Great to see that. Wonderful. We'll obviously be cheering him on. A little bias on that one today, but great to see him back there. No arm pump. I talked to him last week. No arm pump whatsoever. He's doing great.
It's working.
Is that one of the things Jordan said you might have to go back? Is it one you plan on seeing him, or is it's just kind of how you feel?
Yeah, on average, you need 2 treatments over 2 years to make it permanent. He's still on his first and doing great, so you don't necessarily have to come back for a second, but sometimes depending on how we do it or what part of the season you're in, we'll do different doses and maybe get you back for a second treatment to make it permanent. But Jordan's doing great on his first treatment so far, and we'll see how he holds up and see if we see him back or not.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about arm pump. It's something almost anyone that's ridden has dealt with. Maybe some people watching don't quite understand it, and then what you do to try to help with that.
Yeah, everyone that rides knows the dreaded arm pump, that's for sure. Signs and symptoms, you know, when you're typically getting those swollen pressure forearms, ultimately can't hand on to the handlebars. And then from there, when you come out to see us, instead of surgery, traditionally surgery was the main treatment option, but we developed a procedure that's minimally invasive, and we target those areas where the blood vessels are getting compressed. So what actually happens for compartment syndrome is when you're gripping on the handlebars, when arm pump starts to occur, the muscles enlarge, they swell up, and they start pushing on the blood vessels deep in the forearm. They're pushing on the artery and vein, and that restricts the blood from getting out. That's where the fluid will build up in the forearms, and you physically feel that, and you can see it sometimes as arm pump. After that persists for a bit of time, that's where you get the weakness in the muscles, and you can't hold on to the bike. So we target those areas right where the blood vessels are being compressed. Small needles, outpatient procedure, get you in and out in just a few hours. Prevention, you know, common stuff that you can do before you come out to see us: massage, stretching, dry needling, handlebar control positioning, relaxing your grip, and then, you know, the dreaded slow down to go fast. Yep. As a rider, you know, you don't want to hear that, but that does help quite a bit to first get you started. If those don't work, give us a call. We'll get you set up and keep you out of that operating room.
All right, we'll see how Jordan Smith does today. Arms are loose. We got that part handled. See about the rest of it. Thanks for stopping by as always. You can hear more from Doc McGinley on arm pump during our race broadcast this afternoon. And we're going to go back to the 250 class now and our highlights from last week.